Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are hearing me clearly. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, madam.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us with our another webinar of our CIRDAP Knowledge Series 2025. So first, I'd like to tell that our Honorable Director General, Dr. P. Chandrasekhara, maybe he can't join for this webinar because he has other business with one of our embassy. So he will try to join later if he can get time. So, but we will be on our time in our schedule for the webinar. So today we are going to have another webinar, another exciting and different type of webinar because it has elements of artificial intelligence in rural development. So first, I'm heartwarming welcome to all of you. First, I would like to introduce of our honorable speaker, Mr. Sachin Hegdekudgi. He's a founder and director, RootsGoods Private Limited, which is based in Bengaluru, India. RootsGoods is an interactive multidisciplinary marketplace for farmers to grade, negotiate, sell, and transport their commodities from farms to wholesale buyers' address. Further, they provide free services of price, weather, and soil analysis for farmers to strengthen the agriculture community with transparent and necessary information. The transactions on the platform would be recorded on blockchain public ledger and crops graded using artificial intelligence based application. This is actually the very short summary of RootsGoods company. But Mr. Sachin has another experience after his master's degree. Basically, he is an engineer, but after that, he has completed one master's degree on sustainable resource management from Technical University of Munich University. He has a research on the impact of macroeconomic energy policies of under European Union on India, China, and other resourceful countries. And he has a vast experience on design and database management, research on data analysis, e-commerce retail business, operation, innovation management, software architecture, and data warehouse design. But to know about his work, you can explore our website. So he's actually one of our experts under our expert database. So now I again welcome to all of you in our webinar. Now I request to our honorable speaker, Mr. Sachin. Sir, you can start now for your talk or presentation. I have given you the access, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Very thankful for the opportunity and thanks for the warm introduction. You've been a very supportive historian and the whole CIRDAP as a team were very active from the day we decided that we do this webinar. So yeah, again, so I will share what my plan today is. I quickly share my screen and explain about what we're doing in terms of technology, and then also pull in some personal experience when we do that, and what were the motivations to use the technology on field. That's my plan. Hope it's fine. Any suggestions before I start?
Yeah, it's fine, sir. At the end of our webinar, because this is 1 hour webinar, so at the end of our webinar, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, we will allocate the audience for any question, answer, or discussion, sir.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen. So let me know, ma'am, if it is visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. So my name is Sachin once again, and my name is Sachin Hegdekudgi. I'm the CEO of a company called RootsGoods Private Limited. And RootsGoods have built a SaaS platform for quality assessment and management of agriculture crops post-harvest. Primarily, we are focusing on maize right now, corn, as we call it in America and European continent. We use AI algorithms, deep learning algorithms. We use data sets like bioinformatics, genomics, photographical data, weather data for quality assessment of the maize, of the corn at farm level. It is most of the quality assessment certificates or quality assessment is happening at market level right now in the industry. So that's a slight difference that we have built after we started the company. So I initially thought it would be possible to make the presentation a little bit interactive. So if anybody could take a guess, which place is this? If somebody has seen it on internet or visited this place, anybody would like to take a guess?
Is it Victoria Falls or Niagara Falls? I don't know.
Close by.
Victoria?
Close by, but it's in a different continent. It's an Asian continent, but it's a good one. This is the place where I come from. It's in Western Ghats of south of India. The falls name is Jog Falls. It's one of the tallest falls. It is the tallest falls in India. You can see there's a lot of plants. There's a lot of flora and fauna. You can't see fauna, but yeah, it's an evergreen forest. So this is one of the reason I wanted to do research. Like our colleague also shared, Mr. Horian also shared about the introduction about my thesis and also my work during masters. This is the reason, because I was coming from a place where it was evergreen forest. There was mostly affinity towards forest and the agriculture by naturally. It was one of the it was a force behind it. So that's when I went and took my thesis opportunity to do research on market access in agriculture. So when I started my thesis and then eventually collaborated with University of Agricultural Sciences in Bangalore and Technical Institute of Munich in Germany. So both the professors suggested that market access issue for farmers and buyers are quite similar. When farmers says that the information for the market, information about quality is not available, then we thought, okay, so the problem is not just the farmers, the problem is also the traders or the procurers who procure from farmers. So that's when the idea of understanding the problem and devising the solution started as the company evolved. So anybody would like to take a guess of this place? Or how does it look anyway? It's a big equipments have been used. So after my engineering, my bachelor of engineering from Bangalore, I went to east of India, which is close to West Bengal and Bangladesh both. The place name is called as Jamshedpur. So this is the picture of Tata Steel. This is where I worked as an engineer, as a consultant under Tata Consulting Engineers. We used to be consultants for the Tata Steel for electrical engineering. So my traveling around this east of India, West Bengal, Sikkim, Odisha, wherever the coal is available. So it opened up a lot of ideas and a lot of realities of the farmers and also realities of people who live at the rural level. So this is one of the second reasons and also my existence, my situation in life brought me closer to the rural life. Because power plants obviously were built mostly in the rural areas, wherever there is either it is greenfield or brownfield projects. It's basically very close to outside the urban areas because it needs a lot of place and it involves some level of environmental challenges as well. So that's why it's slightly above the limits of the urban areas, right? So this also opened up a lot of realities and challenges as well in the rural areas. of hinterlands of Asia and to be precise, in east part of India. So then coming back to the rural part of our challenges, the farmers and buyers both were having this issue, like I was saying, both were using their subjective experiences from previous years, which means how do we negotiate? How do we fix? How do we come across with the price discovery? That was very challenging for both. Only, for example, today, only at 12 o'clock, the traders will know what is the quantity, what is the quality available in the rural parts of India. And India is not one place, right? So let's say one state. So only on that particular day, they will know the quality, quantity, and then eventually price discovery happens, which means it's a challenge for both farmers and buyers to negotiate and come to a price point. Of course, there are multiple tools that has been used already, but it's live dynamic data which could be taken from the farm is not available in a large extent, in a larger context. So that's where our company comes in. We take data at the pre-harvest level because we also suggest what could be the challenge in the pre-harvest through our mobile application. It's a free advisory for farmers, but we have provided option for farmers to have a farm journal. They can journal their farm's activity, and then if there is any challenge, they can share. So we would have this pre-harvest data, and post-harvest data also they will share through images, and that's where the data is shared with the buyers. So that's the background data sets that we are using right now to give more clarity on objective way of quality assessment. So anybody would like to take a guess on this, please? Looks like an office, or it looks like a cafeteria. Anyone want to take a shot? Probably you guys have seen it on internet, this one. Okay, so yeah, you can see there's a lot of people sitting and working, that's for sure. So this is the library in TU Munich, Technicals of Munich in Garching. This is one of the places where I studied. And this is, you can see this is one of the long slide. It is coming from third floor and it will directly take you to the first floor. So I understand from the background that it was built based to prove the physics, prove the time it has taken, and to teach students, to give a live example for the students about the physics. So this is cafeteria, part of cafeteria. You can see on the left hand side there is a small cafeteria down at the ground floor, and people are eating and working. So here was my thesis. It was about climate change. And my thesis was about bridging European alliances systems to Indian renewable energy certificate systems. Both of the systems are the systems which incentivizes the people who does not emit carbon. For example, in Indian renewable energy certificate systems, how it works is if somebody has have installed solar parks in 5 acres or 2 hectares of land. So those entities can generate certificates, which can be bought by entities or companies who are emitting carbon, like coal power plants, which I mentioned earlier. So in European alliances system, it is also similar. It's a trading mechanism where a buyer can buy certificates from similar entity like solar parks, and then it will be issued from the government, and it is traded there. REC is not traded in an exact manner by UI, but still it is bought and sold in both places. So this was the point where I collected more agriculture data, because agriculture is in a smaller scale. Agriculture is also part of data sets that we collect for climate change. So that's where the research started out for the market access issue that we discovered after the thesis. Now, once I come back to India, this is the platform that we built to collect the data sets from the farm level. So there are farms, there are sellers, there are logistics, 3 main stakeholders post-harvest. So this is exactly the point where the farmer shares images and locations. So from location, we can take weather data. From images, we know what are the quality available at the farm level. Of course, there are multiple sets of bioinformatics data which will reinforce whether the images are correct images or not. But in general, this is what we take, just two sets of data sets, and then we crunch that data. You can see the detection quality certificate frame in this slide. You can see the detection of different color differentiations. I will, as we go on, we will share more details. But in contextualize this, there are only two types of data sets to generate the quality certificate, and that certificate is sent to the farmer and also to the buyers. So here, farmer sends his selling offer, buyer says buying offer. If it matches, then we take care of logistics from pickup from farm till the warehouse. But there's one catch: we always pay farmer on spot. It's like a spot trading in a context of trading. It is spot trading. It's not credit-based future contracts or forward contracts. It is on spot. We pay and then we take it, deliver it to the buyer. Buyer will pay us. So that's the overall services that we have provided. To summarize, there are 4 services. One is AI-based quality assessments certificates, matchmaking between farmers and buyers based on that certificate, then logistics from farm till the warehouse, on-spot payment of the farmers. So these are the 4 types of services, which is quite different by nature. So we thought, okay, we will focus on one crop because there are multiple services. As a startup, we have very limited resources and limited capital and human resource both. So that's where we decide we will focus only on one crop, which is maize. Now, anybody wants to take a guess which place is this?
Kuala Lumpur.
Oh, very close. This is very close. Yeah. So this is Shanghai. Absolutely. Yeah. So I was in Shanghai for 4 to 5 months during my studies. And this is one of the places where when I visited, where it also gives perspectives of how systems, especially the physical systems, were built. I'm sure you guys have heard, you guys have seen, but from in a personal perspective, I was working as a innovation management consultant in close to Shanghai. There is a place called as Changzhou, around 60 kilometers. It's kind of an industrial city, not as big as Shanghai, but it is quite famous for its industrial capacity. There, the idea was to understand and build and scale the innovations of water filters, and they had water filter build systems, factory which builds water filters. And here we interacted with a lot of companies from Germany because I was studying in Germany. I was coming from Germany. Then interaction with Germany and also interaction with companies in US and Canada as well. How the innovations can be taken in terms of investments, because they were also worried about what kind of investments that has to be done in order to improve the filters, for example. But of course, there is always correlation with prices, right? So that was my work. And then the way the factory was working for a longer duration of time and very precise way of manufacturing with the planned schedules, this was something which was really interesting. And water filters, mainly because water filters came into forefront in China, mainly because of the environmental challenges that the country was facing during that. I was talking about 2014 when I was there. During my studies from Germany, I went there. So this also gave up in perspective for me. I traveled on October 1st to 10th. It's national holidays in China. You guys might have heard it. It's a whole China. It's off, and then they travel and then they visit their parents and loved ones. I was also there, and I traveled from Xi'an till Shenzhen, just taking trains. It's a solo trip kind of thing till I reached. I had some friends, and then I traveled along, and then I came to Wuhan to back to Shenzhen to Hong Kong, and then returned back to Shanghai. So this was the plan, and then it was very interesting way of seeing things, how commonalities that we have around the world, which is built around a small family and then small group of friends. And eventually see one of the biggest libraries that was built in Shenzhen, for example, and the architectural marvels of it. So it was very humbling experience and also very surprising experience how the problems were tackled and how problems eventually was created because of reasons, and then how it was tackled in terms of environment and agriculture. So this was also a pivotal point where for the choosing of corn, because China is also one of the biggest corn producer among the other Asian countries. So this gave us a perspective about what could be the challenges that we could face. Now, when I go back to my friends and also the colleagues who I worked with, so we give a lot of heads up towards going into that market, like we're doing in Nepal, for example. My colleague, my co-founder, is also from Nepal. He's the CIO of the company, and he has a PhD in climate science as well. I think he is on the call as well. I'm not able to see. I'm just seeing my screen and presenting. If he's there, he will also value add his experience working in Nepal. Now, after this, maize, it's very very natural for us to choose maize, because maize or corn, it is grown in highest number in the state where I come from, in Karnataka, and where I wanted to stay with my parents after I studied or start a company which is close to my parents' place. So that's exactly why one personal reason, and the second reason is maize is a commercial commodity. It has a quality parameter which is very fixed, which can be used with different technologies like AI. So now, after we started out, the farmers who have worked with us got 10 to 12% more better price, more income than the earlier ones. So far we have covered around 40,000 farmers in mostly south part of India, and the other two places are in Gujarat and Punjab. We are active. South, I mean Karnataka, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. So these are all the some states in India. I'm giving this, setting the perspective of having challenges of all the states speak different languages. Most of them speak different languages. 80% of Indian states. So which means that as we go out, the talking to farmers were also quite challenging because their languages are different. So we have to work on their languages and cultural practices, which means whenever there is a disease, what I mean by cultural practices, whenever there is a disease, the way they sort the disease challenge in their farm is also quite cultural. Very local level herbs are used, local level of physical differentiation, how they separate the part of the farm, and sometimes they burn it, sometimes they take it and then put it in and dig the land and then put inside. So there are many different cultural practices that we also have to understand, because we cannot advise them, because they know better. Farmers know better, they have more experience, they have more data sets, but just not the objective way of seeing it was slightly lacking. Mostly it was subjective way of how they learned from previous years, from their ancestors. That was the primary data sets, which we don't have, of course. Only the local people know what are the different types of vegetations that has grown there. So these were some challenges that we felt when we actually came out. When we went with a solution to the market, the advantage that we brought in was we were reducing the post-harvest losses from 22% to 5%. So in farm level, at logistic level, and at warehouse level. So that's when we brought in more collaborations once we came online, including University of Agricultural Sciences that I mentioned in Bangalore, and manage Hyderabad, and universities, some of the universities in Europe, which I studied as well. So some of the advantages that we also built in is that we chose one crop. There are many quality assessment companies working really well. We are very much happy that they're working. So only challenge that we felt was it was slightly expensive technology was used, which was spectrometry. Which is eventually used around the world in Australia, Canada, and US, and all the countries where farmers have more than 5,000 acres are also using this similar type of quality assessments. So the challenge in Asia, what we felt was the farmers have only 2 to 3 acres on average, or 2 hectares maximum. That's the average area that their farmers have. So why don't we generate value at the farm level by bringing the quality assessment to farmers? This is one of the idea what we worked on. So in order to include that at the farm level, obviously the willingness to pay from the farmers was quite low. If they have only 3 acres or 2 hectares, there's not much that they can spend on these kind of services, right? So we wanted to make it inexpensive. So we made a data-driven solution. So that's where this inexpensive way of building this AI solutions helped. And then implementation was also easier because farmers accepted it because the costs were less. And the other advantage was we can also generate bioinformatics data and the genomics data, which could be used for calculating the shelf life of the corn or the maize that has been used. So that's where we started out. And whenever we go at the farm level, this is one of the interactions that that's having probably the 10 days of maize plant. That is what you can see with the farms. And in terms of capacity building with the technology was, for us initially, it was difficult. And in order to go just as a company, it was always difficult to win the trust of farmers because it's a large community of people who are involved in it, right? So what we did, we went, because we had connection and incubated at University of Agricultural Sciences, Bangalore. So we went to the KVKs, Krishi Vignana Kendras, which comes under, it is a government entity which comes normally close to universities or each of the districts and sub-districts in India. So we went to university, we went to this Krishi Vignana Kendra, which is KVK, which in loosely translating, Krishi is agriculture, Vignan is science, Kendra is center, which is agriculture science center. So it's loosely translated in that manner. If somebody wants to correct, you can correct me. So then these KVKs opened up the connections to the FPOs, farmer producer organization / farmers. FPOs are a concept which take more than 10 farmers till 1,000 farmers together in one group, and they float it as a company. And government of India has given them lesser taxation, so that they can survive in a longer term. And it is also incentivized by salaries as well by government of India. So this active FPOs, farmer producer organizations, they picked up these solutions and then they start implementing through their farmers. So this was one of the pivotal point as well for us, where the farmer community by themselves, where it is FPOs are normally led by agriculture graduates or who are graduates from different universities, like CEOs of that FPOs or directors of the FPOs are very active and they have exposed to technologies. So that's when these ideas of using this AI solutions was started out, and it was very thankful, God willing, it happened for us at the right time, because first 2 years it was very tough for us to actually go to farmers directly and do it. Yeah, so overall, the farmers, it's free of cost because farmers have very less willingness to pay. This is why we did. And each transaction that we go through, we take fee on the transaction from the buyer. So this is the business model that we work on. It's very easiest way to generate that kind of revenue. In terms of having integration of AI into the system is quite difficult because agriculture systems have been built in a long time, right? And in order to replace it, it's always challenge. So what we did, we got involved in the system which is already existing and then started showing them how the solution is going to reduce your losses or increase your profits. So 2 ways, or reach the regulatory limits that government has set. So mainly or loosely, we can only say there are 3 types of business model that we can build here. One is reducing the losses, increasing the profit, or monitoring the regulatory requirements of the government. Otherwise they have to pay penalties, right? So that's the way we started also proposing it. And here again, universities, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, Telangana Agriculture Universities, and University of Agriculture Bangalore, which I mentioned earlier, Indian Institute of Sciences, they all collaborated in one or the other points during our journey, which helped us a lot to give. One is validation from the institutes, and also coming from, sometimes they also fund us, but it's not a big amount, but mostly a validation kind of amounts that they put in, and which we are very thankful as well, which brought in more recommendations to go and reach out to the banks, which are banks like NABARD is like World Bank in India, which works in developmental sector, agriculture and rural development. Those people also came on board after the institutes like this came. So because they also fund FPOs, they started suggesting our solutions to them. Say, why don't you try it? So the FPOs are farmer producer organizations who implement this AI solutions at farm level. So those people use these recommendations and then start using AI. This is the catalyst that we came across many a point of time. And Microsoft and Accenture through Project Amplify also gave us a lot of GPU spaces, graphical processing units for AI, which we use at farm level. It takes longer cycles of your revenue generation because it's seasonal. Only in 1 or 2 seasons maize is grown. Revenue can be generated for us only 1 or 2 seasons, 1 or 2, let's say 3 quarters, not 4 quarters, which means that we need some kind of support which is slightly understand the seasonality, or which slightly understand the variations of revenue generation that an agri company can go through. So Microsoft and Accenture came up with that. They came up with a specific type of program where they can help us. So that's how we started out. And then when we started out in Karnataka, we went to the other states, primarily in Telangana. We went to Telangana, and then we went to Tamil Nadu now, and Gujarat and Punjab is where we are working. And we started collaboration with University of Agriculture Sciences, University of Bayerno in Nigeria. And we also have a collaboration with Canada in McGill University as well. So 1 second, please. So in Nigeria, we are starting a pilot this February. And in Canada, we are doing a pilot project starting in a couple of months in the next season, actually. The harvest, which happens in April, we are testing our solutions there. And that is through McGill and University of Saskatchewan. So this is me. Again, my introduction was already done. And my colleague, Dr. Shakil Regmi, he is CIO, and then he's has his PhD in climate science. And Dr. Gracie Pali, she's our official mentor from University of Agriculture Sciences. She has helped us in working on how to build an econometrics model which can efficiently use it for the maize. Dr. Rob is official mentor from Indian Institute of Sciences. He has helped us. He has experience in seed industry, and this experience of seed industry, which has very stringent quality parameters assessment, which has brought into the commercial maize, commercial corn as well. That's exactly the value addition started to build in, and we could convince the processing units to use our solutions. So these are some investments that we have raised from Government of India, Government of Canada, NABARD, IIT, IIMs, and ISC. And as we moved on, the lot of push, a lot of support from government, and also a lot of support from press as well, where Economic Times of India came to us. They asked what are the different solutions that we have built. They interviewed our farmers, interviewed our processing units who are buying this solution from us, and then they put a full-scale article as well. So there was, as a company, we got a lot of support from different sectors. That's why I wanted to also introduce this in this presentation. And so yeah, this is exactly what we're trying to build: 3 main stakeholders: farmers, buyers, and logistics, pivoting around quality. In terms of tech, we use images and weather data, like I mentioned earlier, very simple, straightforward data sets, which is available publicly in terms of weather, and collected photographs will be coming from the farmers. We work on, we fed into these servers and get these solutions in terms of size, color, fungus, foreign materials, and moisture. In 4 parameters, you can see here on the top: size, color, fungus, foreign materials. These are physical parameters. So we have used the image processing algorithms. Moisture is an internal parameter. So we use this. This is the image of one of the states in India called Karnataka. We basically take weather data to have the correlation for the loss of moisture at farm level. So this is a remote way of calculating the moisture using the deep learning algorithms based on weather data. So this is again map of this is the data that we take from the market. There are protected markets called APMC yards market in India, which is semi-government kind of setups. We take data from them also, which is open data, to understand what is the quality, available quantity and quality of the farmers outside our network of farmers. So these are the systems that we've built to help the everyday transactions, everyday operations that we do. We've applied patents in India, granted patents in India and Europe, because we started in Europe, in Germany, so we had to put it there. And we have a couple of more patents applied. We have trademarked our own our logo, which you can see on the right-hand side above. And yeah, thank you. This was my quick presentation. And if you have any question, anything that we would like to hear, any questions also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sachin Hegdekudgi. I hope I have spelled your name correctly. It is Hegdekudgi, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Thank you.
Hegdekudgi, but it's quite okay. It's quite
Okay,
close.
Okay. Thank you so much for its
Please.
very concise and wonderful presentation.
Thank
And
you.
now, on behalf of CIRDAP, I'm opening the floor for the discussion or any questions or any suggestion. Please, you can directly ask to speaker.
Yeah. Can you stop sharing the presentation so that I can ask question?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Please.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very great, Sachin. In fact, I contacted you yesterday. You see,
Yes.
I am from the Indian Institute of Horticulture Research. I head the Division of Social Science and Training. I'm basically a extension person. So now we also have so many projects where we would like to involve, even for example, companies like IFCO also has come out with the Krishi Devgyan app, both on the input factorization front and the output commercialization front. It's very nice that you have taken up more of the output commercialization part. And in fact, I have also developed an app called Arka Vyapar. It's available in Google Play Store. Very similar to what your line of thinking, but yours is more scientific, and it's also giving this alternate value chain end-to-end solution for a farmer's marketing problems. It's absolutely great, and IHR wishes to collaborate with your organization and how we can take up. And we do have a National Horticulture Fair from 27th to 1st March. Kindly come. And I wish that I will arrange a seminar for you there on similar lines. Thank you, so nice of you. More on the personal front. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Perfect. So very kind. Thank you.
It was so nice.
Okay. Any more questions or advice? We have plenty of time, at least around 20 minutes. So, okay. Yeah, Dr. Venkatala. Yeah.
Yeah. Good morning there. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Doctor.
I'm Dr. Venkatmalu, research officer from NID, Hyderabad, India. Really, sir, it's a wonderful presentation. How your company is helping the rural people, especially in marketing their produces, especially maize product. When I saw the title, so it is like a improving AI in improving the farmers' livelihood. So there are different activities, even pre-harvesting and post-harvesting. Your company is and means whatever you are doing is very good in post-harvesting, especially in selling, marketing the produce. What are the possibilities for pre-harvesting activities through AI? How can we help the farmers in handling the losses, pre-harvesting losses due to different reasons? Is there any scope for that? Can you just
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. And I want to add one thing before I start about our work and our value addition in that similar line of question. So there is a company called Plantix. When we started out in 2018, they worked with CIMET in Hyderabad. It's also in Agrisat's office campus in Hyderabad. In Patanchero. And they have floated an app called Plantix for detection of different diseases. But the problem that we felt, because it was not, we also tried it for maize, and the challenge that we felt was that when not only that company, it's been used extensively. It was started from if I'm not wrong, two Israeli colleagues who have started it and then brought it to India, something similar, and it was working well. Of course, their challenge I could see was that I have spoken with them, but the commercialization aspect, of course, to sustain any products like this, it needs some kind of commercial sustainability as well, right? So even though any product would be good, including ours. I'm not saying our product is good. I'm saying any product which is good or the product that we have built, we need some sustainability, financial sustainability. Otherwise, it's quite hard to sustain it. This is what we believed from the core, that we are a company, we are not NGO. In order to have a in order to have sustain this AI models and the solutions, AI is one tool. We have multiple tools that anybody can use, but now AI is riding the wave. It's a right format of question. I agree, but at the same time, my idea is to run that through the finances of the company itself, not our outside company, which means coming to the just the models that can work, that is working around India and outside, that we have seen in agri companies, including Canada. I visited Canada just 4 months back to University of McGill and in Saskatchewan. Even there, these solutions are innovative and useful. Innovative, I mean, it's new as well. There are a couple of companies who are working on similar models. The challenge there again is, how do we sustain it? If the company is not making profit, how does it sustain? It's just not possible to sustain any of this unless it is research based. I agree, research based is fine. So again, next, coming to how any company can generate revenue in agri. One is input selling and is output. So these are easiest way that around the world, not only in India, any agri-tech company you take, most of them are working on this model. Most of them, I'm not saying all of them, most of them. In my experience, I've been working and traveling close to 18 countries. So now, wherever I've seen startups and agri startups, reading about it, I see these two models working out well for the agri companies. There are advisory companies as well, which means advisory has to be given to farmers and farmers have to pay it. So I feel it's going to be a tough challenge for that company. But there are companies, I don't want to take advisory companies who have not interacted in India, but they're doing really well.
Yes, sir.
You guys
Yes, sir. In that case, sir, when the companies think about the profit, sustainability of their company, so it's just an idea. I am not that much saying, but since there are so many FPOs, all these are there, and maybe since you are expertise in the marketing strategies, pre-harvesting strategies also you can see for you can collaborate with FPOs for to tackle pre-harvesting losses, all these things. So that livelihoods.
Agreed, sir. Agreed. That we can.
Like,
we are thinking on that lines, of course. But I don't want to overpromise on these lines because again, see, why company focusing on one crop can actually do this, like you said. It's actually, that is also, we want to build an ecosystem around the world, including Asia mainly, because we have stronger base here. We are doing in Africa, like I mentioned as well. So we want to build a network of corn and maize farmers around the world, which means that pre-harvest has to be added up at some point of time, pre-harvest advisory or solutions. We are working on it, but it's not in the market yet. So I don't want to overpromise on anything, but we will definitely take in the point taken, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sachin, there was one question. I'm sorry, I'm repeating again. You see, recently we had that agri minister from Jharkhand, that Madam Sneha Tirki was here. So she has given the task to develop FPOs and CBBOs, cluster-based business organizations, in and around Jharkhand for whatever product. So in case we use your app or whatever it is, what is the scope of customization for every individual CBBO or something? They would like to take your generic app and then we can customize it for each and every one, so that this livelihoods and supply chain, value chain is going to be effective. How much we can customize?
This, I think I have to talk to my teammates once. Of course, we can see, sir, you also know agriculture. I believe agriculture ministry should have at least 50 ministries. Just for maize, one ministry, rice, one ministry, because the market is so big. When I hear about people saying that agriculture is one, horticulture is one, I think I mean, I'm humbly saying it. I'm not an agri graduate. I have only researched on climate. I'm humbly saying this. I think agriculture has to be subdivided into at least 10 more cereals or just maize, rice, because the market is so big. Everybody has to eat, right? Everybody has to consume a lot of, in different ways we consume agriculture commodities. Which why I'm saying this is, in order to change the crop, in order to customize the business model, we have taken a lot of time. I mean, this is a reality for us. We've taken a lot of time to work on the model to make it sustainable. And if you suddenly want to customize it, I really need to talk to the experts as well. I'm not only expert, that's the challenge.
Yeah,
But we can
that's
talk, sir. We can talk it separately.
yeah,
And
sure,
then
sure,
we'll also
sure.
speak with you. Thank
Okay,
you.
we have a line of other questions. So first hand which raised by Mr. Siddharth, and after Mr. Siddharth, Dr. Ravi Babu and Ajay Varia will take your questions too, sir. So Mr.
Thank you.
Siddharth, okay.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Sachin, and nice to see
Hello,
such a
Mr.
good
Siddharth.
presentation delivered by you. I am from Arya.ag. I hope you know Arya Collaterals, and used
Yes,
to
yes,
work on
absolutely.
various similar lines on this. And good to know that on the AI front, especially on the crop produce that has come up. Since you have,
Siddharth,
I
your
have
video is not on.
no worries, sir. So just wanted to know that have you are you only working on maize, or there are some other crops that you have developed
No,
for the
sir. No,
holidays
not
as
yet. Not yet. We are working only on maize. For us, it's also a business decision because maize is one of the biggest crop in India, and our strength was also because we're coming from outside. Our network and the connections were also outside was far better. We were working on our strengths. Focusing on maize was also a strategic decision because I was from Karnataka. Karnataka is one of the largest producers, and then it is commercial crop which can be easily used for AI applications or any kind of IT applications, IT systems. And then that's why we could easily not easily that's why we the idea of using our network, we could go in Africa and American continent is what we were thinking from the earlier, so we're just following that line instead of going to many crops. In market itself, 66,000 crore in India, and overall close to $280 billion US dollar market is there for maize. But we are open to do it for millets because these are the close cousins. Sorghum, it is very close cousin for maize. Ragi. So these things can be implemented far easier, considering the complexities that we have gone through in the maize. We believe that this could be more an easiest option. And the fourth option that we have is soya, because our paying customer, which are poultry industries and poultry industries and starch industry, they also need soya as a supplement sometimes, especially poultry, animal feed, which means that if you provide more protein-based maize to them, they can reduce the soya buying as well because there's higher cost of soya. So these are the flexibilities that we see very practically. And we really are committed to build at least one system for one crop which is successful. Maybe depending on our investors, we would like to make it open source or something so that everybody can use it. That's the idea. And this systems has to be sustainable again, right? So if we work on different crops, it will be hard for a young companies. I believe, yeah, and we also believe in work-life balance coming from Germany, which means that we don't want to work all the time and work on very diligently on every crop and solve every problem on the earth. Just do what limited amount of time that we have on this planet and then work something which is sustainable and make it work. That's the plan. So
yeah.
that's a long answer. Sorry.
Yeah. So, like your solution, you take photograph from the app, right?
Correct.
And then it is, for example, there are certain black funguses which are not so obvious on the physical side of it.
Correct. Correct.
So what happens if there are traces of it and it increases the toxicity even for poultry? So
Correct.
will it
Correct.
be catchable through your solutions?
What we
Who
are
will?
doing that is there are data that we collect from agronomists and pathologists. Okay. So here, the idea here is, there is always, let's say, for example, if the temperature is very high, we will not wear woolen sweaters, right? So the plants and seeds have similar way of reacting to the environment. So which is we collect that data, which means what is the reaction of maize plant between 30 to 35 degree and humidity of 60%. So these data sets are correlated back. and see what might be the disease at the pre-harvest level, which will eventually taken to the post-harvest shelf life calculation as well. So that's why we feel that it's very multidisciplinary. If a company is focus on one or two crop, which with this kind of approach, we could solve problems together as well. Yeah, I mean by generating data sets in government, non-government, both. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Next, Dr. Ravi Babu, sir, would you like to ask questions?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good morning, Dr.
Morning, doctor.
Sachin. It is a really, a good thought process. Yeah, I'm Dr. Ravi Babu. I'm associate professor heading the Center for Information and Communication Technology in NIT Hyderabad. In fact, it's a really good model. Do you have any option like where the farmer can choose the direct buyer option you are given in this? Any chance?
Yes, sir. We have given options for the buyers to directly negotiate with farmers, so they don't have to come to us. If the based on that, if there is a match make between among themselves, we will send the truck.
Okay. So because the NIT also a lot of look and corner reach out institutions. We have a huge network of institutions. And definitely, I'm looking forward to your project, and we will help you as well as I'm also more specialized in the image processing and geo AI by academic. So we also started recently Center for Excellency in Artificial Intelligence. We just start now. We look forward to your contribution also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have we have lots of questions. Next, Mr. Ajay Bhartia, you wanted to ask.
Other input already purchased, so you should put up that.
Mr. Ajay, yeah, sir. Yeah. Okay.
I'm there.
Hello, sir.
Thank you, Sachin, for your presentation. That gives a lot of idea about this AI, because this is something which is emerging now, and it is spreading all over. So everybody is on a same this thing, and everybody is perceiving this technology in a different way.
Right.
As you were talking about the how to increase the sale proceed of a farmer, and I mean the forward linkages and the backward linkages for the input supplies and all that, and cut down the cost. So a couple of things, what you rightly said, that your identity or your company also has to be a profitable thing, right?
Right, sir, right.
So commercially viable. So I'm evaluating the whole thing and the whole process so that how it can be, more meaningful for a farmer. If you talk about, that you are likely to expect some infestation of pest or something like that, and giving the advice to the farmer, and he's doing some prophylactic treatment also, but and after that the pest and or the disease will not come. So you can't gain the trust of the farmer whether that was a right expenditure or not. So the technology have got their own questions. But what I personally feel that the AI can be very, very, easily penetrate in the rural market if we start providing services to the farmer rather than the products, right? Which is, I mean, we are majorly focused how to give the agronomical advices to them to increase their productivity, and how to make available markets to them so that they can get the best return on their produce. Right. So apart from that, there are so many things from where we can do that. For example, if the sensor is there in the soil, and if he gets a notification that, look here, moisture is very much less. I'm not a technical person, so please excuse me. I'm expecting something much, much more beyond the capacity of the AI reach so far.
Sure, sir.
So if we can get the reminder that, look here, you have to irrigate your field or something like that. And the most, one service if we can provide in the rural India, because I'm connected with the rural India from last 4 decades or more. I was associated with the dairy industry and aquaculture and mainly agriculture. And I introduced so many new products in India also. So So, I mean, one service, because the marketing, as a marketing guy, I'm also a marketing guy, not a agri graduate. So,
Okay.
so and but I enjoyed the study of my zoology, botany, and chemistry in my agriculture
Right.
knowledge. Right.
So we, in this context, sir, what we are doing is that we tried
I
out
think
different
just
models.
one more line, and then I will finish.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
we
sure.
provide, because the marketing thing is, make your consumer lazy. First of all, the TV, and then button, and then you remote, and now Alexa is there, not even to press the button. So make your
Right.
customer lazy. Now the biggest problem is and the new technology drone is also emerging, right?
Right.
Just a
So
minute.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we can integrate this drone technology with our application app, which is there in the farmer, if he want to get spray anything, then he will get the schedule that on such and such day, such and such time, the person will come and
Right.
will
So
spray.
this solution, sir, it's very appropriate what you said, and there are a couple of companies who are doing it. And again, coming to the same principle that some crops which are more profitable, they are using it, like pomegranate in Maharashtra. So some of the FPOs are doing it, and it is helping them, like grapes as well. But for cereals, the margins are quite low, right? So there is apprehension from the farmer side and FPO side as well, that how do we use this, and also how do we implement it profitably.
No,
I think the companies are working. So point taken.
Sachin, let me tell you one thing. This is a very commercially viable option. That's why I'm telling you. Because right now they are, struggling not for the spray to get the labor. They don't get the
Right.
labor. So immediately they will pay the labor charges, which will be lesser
Right.
in case of the drone. So it will be a win-win situation
Agreed.
for the
You're
commercial
absolutely right.
viability
There
of
are a
a
couple of companies who are really doing well. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if they are employing one labor, and if it can be done in a 1 hour, so it is a win-win situation for the company
Right.
also providing the services. So
Yeah.
basically, the supply chain thing has to be streamlined for all the activities and provide the services to the farmer.
Perfect. You're right. The people are doing it and very profitably trying to do. And Indian drone policies have also been implemented, and I think it's going going well, at least in the context of fruits. That I agree.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
Okay,
Thanks for the question.
Okay, we will take 2 more questions because we are very end of our webinar. We will take 2 more questions. First, Dr. Kumaravel, then Mr. Ranjit. Dr. Kumaravel. Oh, okay.
Yes, good morning, Sachin. So,
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
The presentation was really apt for the correct context, and I am a veterinarian, specialized in veterinary extension, so dealing with a lot of livestock farmers. And the topic suggested the maize is a major crop which is involved in the poultry and livestock feed. Nearly 40 to 50% is being utilized. And I want to know, through your app or through your company, how you have the collaboration linkage with feed companies, or poultry feed companies, or cattle feed companies, and other poultry stakeholders. What is your relation? And
Right, sir.
is volume of transaction. How much volume of meat to transact? These are the 2 questions.
Right. See, the first question is that, like I tried to explain earlier as well. So we were part of the traditional procurement systems, which means that we were trying to procure from the farmer and then supply to the buyer. And then show them this is the shelf life and this is the calculation of this is the quality and this is the shelf life that we assure you, and then you can use it. So they initially said, no, it's fine, you give us a better price, then it's fine. We can even take your all these certificates we are taking, because it's right now it's free of cost, and then you give us for best price, that's all. And then as the time moved, now we are the procurers, like processing units who buy from us. So they are asking to integrate this solution in form of APIs. APIs in the sense we have built a IT system which will have an output in terms of quality certificate parameters, like moisture 14%, for example. For 14% moisture is an output, one of the outputs from the systems. So that we will integrate into the system, of the IT system of the procurement centers itself. So there, whenever the procurement happens, they will also do quality assessment through our mobile phones, and the results will come directly to them. So that's kind of API collaborations we are in now. APIs are these are interface between our systems to the other the systems of procurement, IT systems. API. These are the keys which used, and that is where we are right now. Initially, we started out with procurements. That's it. And the second question was about
volume of transaction.
Volume. Each transaction is around 30 tons, sir. 30 tons. 25 to 30 tons, and we one lorry maximum amount of is 30 tons. That's why we take that.
Well, in Tamil Nadu, you have a lot of feed companies who
correct. We are trying to
take a lot of maize. Yeah?
Right. We are working in Kodulur.
Some sort of association or linkage with them regularly.
We are working with Suguna chickens. Yeah. We are working with them, and the farmers are in Kadalur.
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you. We'll catch up. If there is any other questions, it's.
We will take the last question from Mr. Ranjit.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Earlier, you wanted to ask her questions. I think he's. Mr. Ranjit, are you there? Could you open your audio? I think he. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so at least I think he missed out from our webinar. Okay, thank you. Sure. Thank you so much for joining us in this webinar. But before ending this webinar, on behalf of CIRDAP, I would like to make some mention to our speakers and also to the audience. Like first, according to this webinar, when we receive this AI application in rural development from our honorable speaker, as CIRDAP is a platform for 15 Asian member countries. So we always think like after the webinar, what could be the replicability of any innovations of any the good practices. So sir, like I know you are a very new startup. You don't have the answer right now, but in future you may think like what other countries, like we have our technical committee member from Myanmar.
Right.
He joined today. So from Iran also some person is joined today. So what kind of replication can you do in other member country like Myanmar or Iran? Because we have similar crops, rice, maize, but some are different, but terrain is different, soil is different. So there is much more angle. And also the biggest challenge is right now is climate change. So for the climate change reason, the farmer sometimes what should be the time for production of rice or maize delayed is something like that. So in future it can be added in your future research or through transformation of this AI. Because it's
absolutely point taken. So we are already scaling to other countries which we have networks in. And we are absolutely happy to work with other countries other than the countries that we are working in right now. Like, for example, Myanmar is one of the very good place to grow maize, and they are growing maize in larger quantity in this region. Myanmar, Vietnam, those places is very, very good for maize. And in very open data set, India as a country right now, there is a deficit of maize as well in production, which means that there's a huge opportunity for countries which is nearby, which the transportation cost is lesser, like Iran, for example, is also great. We have a very good sea line as well. In that context, I think we are very happy to collaborate with them. If there is any suggestions in terms of collaborations, I will drop my email address in the chat box. Please let me know. I'd be happy. My colleague is also here. I will put his email address. Dr. Shakil Rigmi is also on the call. We are trying to do that in Nepal. because Nepal has same easier route systems with India and other countries, for Bangladesh as well, for example. So in that route, we can have a very good collaboration, and trade can bring in a lot of changes among the borders, which what we have seen. So we are very happy. We're trying to do the same thing.
Yeah. So before, I have a couple of announcements. So may I request our technical committee member, Dr. Anusak from Myanmar. Sir, would you like to say a few things, because you joined here? Just a few words. We are Dr. Anusak. Okay, he is our honorable technical committee member from Myanmar.
Thanks, Dr. Anusak.
Thank you. Hi, hello everyone. It's very great, precious. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Thank you, Doctor. This is a great opportunity that I learned from honorable speaker, and just want to thanks Laos, Vietnam, and India. I think we have a lot of similar things like crops. But sorry, maybe my voice is not clear because I am in another meeting room. Sorry, but thank you for your informations, and just I want to say just keep in touch, and you get your PowerPoint again. Yes, and yes, just thank you and keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir, from the technical committee member from Lao PTR and also from Myanmar also. Thank you. So, so this is the end of our today's webinar. So we will have another webinar in next month on March 10th. It will be on International Women's Day. We are humbly requesting all of you join with us again for celebration of women. And also we have a couple of things we are working on right now. So, the publications on disaster management and climate change, publications of rural innovations. So if you have any good practices or new innovations, and if you can make 10 to 12 pages of articles, you can send us in my email address. Because our Honorable Director General, he is planning to publish 6 to 7 publications in this year. So we are very ambitious, and hopefully we will accomplish that. So next publication is disaster management and climate change, which is very related to any topic. So please submit any article related to climate change or rural innovations to us. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all, and thank you, Mr. Sachin Hegdekudgi. Hopefully you will, and I request please send me your presentation, and also if you can make a paper out of this, maybe 10 pages, it will be helpful for us. Okay. Thank you so much.
Everybody. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Janet. Thank you, Ms. Janet, for organizing this.
Thank you.